and bright. Oh, hear all those green leaves rustling. See the trees swaying gently in the wind. But suddenly a storm appears, scaring all the flowers, trees and birds. And when the storm is gone and the calm sets in, you'll see whatever's left on the ground are not just wilting leaves. You find that there are young ones too, not even fully grown. But that's the way the world is. You've got to learn that fast. Understand the law of nature. Be grateful they've come this far. No one can be with you forever. The sooner you realize this, the better. Live better than those who have gone away. Carry on the legacy and honor. And in your heart you'll have no fear. You can let go of those you hold so dear. Will you accept this truth and put an end to all your tears? Cherish them when they're here with you, but don't cling on when they're to go. One day they must leave you, just as one day you leave them too. Forgive whatever has happened, they now belong to the past. Give them your blessings to go in peace. Practice all that you preach at last. No one can live forever. This body we can't control. Our real home is inner peace. Someday we will all have to let it go. Imagine a house you can come into. There is no condition that you must fulfill. You'll find lots of loving people, people who welcome you. No matter what you have, no matter what you do, opening the door of your heart. Let love make a start, embrace all those around you. Let them know how you feel when you unlock the door with the key that love gives you. There are no strings attached and no boundaries. No fine print, no hidden catch, come feeling free. There are so many beautiful feelings, they're so hard to resist. Let the love flow around, let love persist. Opening the door of your heart. Love is for you and me. Love can set us free. We all can make a fresh start if we open our hearts. You gotta open up the door to your heart and let everyone know just how you feel. And then you can let them in when you unlock the door with the key that love gives you. Opening the door of your heart, let love make a start. Every soul moves around you. Let them know how you feel when you unlock the door with the key that love gives you. When you unlock the door with the key that love gives you.
Good morning, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Good morning, Dr. Ng. We shall start today's service with salutation to the Triple Gem. Let us pay respects to the Triple Gem. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami. Supatipano Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. So we will do a preliminary homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. The offerings, we will be offering the 5 items here. Please join in to read the verses together. Offering of light. Light symbolizes wisdom. May the light of Dhamma dispel the darkness of ignorance. Offering of incense. Incense symbolizes the fragrance of pure moral conduct. This reminds us to cultivate good conduct. Offering of water. Water symbolizes purity, clarity, and calmness. It reminds us to practice the Buddha's teachings to cleanse one's mind, which is full of desires, ill will, and delusion, to attain the state of purity. Offering of fruits. Fruits symbolize the ultimate fruit of enlightenment, which is our goal. They also remind us that all actions will have their effects. Offering of flowers. Flowers symbolize impermanence. The freshness, fragrance, and beauty of flowers are impermanent. This reminds us that we should all live in the present. Remembering thus, we should reduce our craving and attachment. We chant these verses for taking the 3 refuges. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. We chant these verses to observe the 5 precepts. Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Adinadana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Kamesu Miccācara Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Musavada Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Surameraya Majapamadatana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Let us recollect the sublime qualities of the Buddha. Itipiso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vijjacharana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purissa dhammasarati satta deva manusanang buddho bhagavati. Let us recollect the sublime qualities of the Dhamma. Swakato bhagavata Dhammo sandittiko akaliko ehipassiko opanaiko paccatang veditabo vinyuhiti. Let us recollect the sublime qualities of the Sangha. Supatipano bhagavato sāvaka sangho. Ujjupatipano bhagavato sāvaka sangho. Nyāyapatipano bhagavato sāvaka sangho. Samicipatipano bhagavato sāvaka sangho. Yadidang cattari purisa yugani atta purisa pugala. Esa bhagavato sāvaka sangho. Ahuneyo pahuneyo dakineyo anjali karaniyo anuttarang punyaketang lokasati. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, let's go to the announcements. Today, this evening, 4:30 to 6 o'clock, we will have another talk by Bhante Dhammika. Zoom, please take down the Zoom ID and the password. Next week, we will have a talk by Bhante Sri Sumana on the Buddhist teachings on the consumption of food. It will be on site, so please come and join us here. Indonesian Dhamma discussion today, 2 to 4 o'clock, meditation as a daily habit by Brother Luis. And we have Sis Metta Vijaya for next Sunday, 2 to 4 o'clock, live happily and die peacefully. BF Youth, that is next week, Why Don't I Fit In? and Indonesian service we have covered. Okay, Dharma Foundation course, of course, already started some time ago, but you can still join, and we will send you the links to the previous talks, videos, as well as the slides. For junior youth, the next lesson will be next Saturday, 3 to 5 p.m. Please look at the poster. For BF Junior, on the 27th of March, what is the title? Oh, there's no title. Okay. Again, help build our Dharma home. So do go to bfdharmahome.org to help us pay for our premises. Okay, now Dr. Ng Yuen, let me introduce Dr. Ng. Okay, Dr. Ng said no need. she's let us do a short meditation before we go for her talk. Thank you, Dr. Ng, over to you.
Okay. Good morning. Today my talk is on Taming 101. So this is part of Taming, the meditation. So we shall now tame our minds, our body, and our feelings, and our mind objects. These are the 4 foundations of mindfulness. And we can see this through the breathing in and breathing out. So if you can sit in a comfortable place, and you sit cross-legged. Otherwise, you can sit on the chair. Put your spine erect, and you notice your posture is upright to the top of your head. You notice again your sitting posture from the sitting seat, the back of the spine, to the top of the head. So you notice this a few times. And then you put your mindfulness in front of you. Like in front of your face. Then you breathe in and you breathe out. I'm going to do an abbreviated Anapanasati. So you breathe in long. You know you're breathing in long. When you're breathing out long, you know you're breathing out long. Breathe in long. And breathe out long. You relax your entire body. Then you notice the breathing in and out. Is it short or is it long? And you just experience the breathing. It calms down naturally the body. You can further calm it down by saying calm. Breathing in, calm. Breathing out, calm. Breathing in, notice the feelings of the body. Is it pleasant? Or otherwise? Breathing in and out. Notice the feelings in the mind. Is it pleasant or otherwise? Experience the feelings, breathing in and out. The feelings calm down naturally. Otherwise, you're breathing in, calm. Breathing out, calm. Then we look at the mind. Breathing in, experience the mind. Is it happy? Its nature is happy. If not, then breathing in gladden the mind. As for mind objects, breathing in breathing out. Any thoughts will just come and go, breathing in, breathing out. All mind objects come and go. Mind objects are not the mind. So breathe in, breathe out. This is the 4 foundations to tame the mind. Breathe in, breathe out. We shall exit the session. Feel the seat. Feel the body on the seat. Feel yourself entirely. And then we shall proceed to the talk. Shall I start now? Okay. So where's the camera? Where am I supposed to look? Where? Below the clock. Okay. Right. Okay. So the topic is Taming 101. Taming 101, the sutta that we chose is the MN Majjhima Nikaya 125, Dantabhūmi, Grade of the Tame. So, thus have I heard. The place was in Rajagaha, the bamboo grove, the squirrel sanctuary, and the people involved were the Prince Jayasena, the novice Agi Visena, and the Buddha. So there's the place, these are the people. So it was said in this sutta that Prince Jayasena, one of the princes of King Bimbisara, was wandering in the grove and that for exercise, and he chanced upon the forest hut which the novice was staying in. And after he approached the novice, he asked the novice, he said that when a bhikkhu abides in diligence, ardency, and resoluteness, the bhikkhu has unification of the mind. Is this true? And the novice say, yes, it's true. Then the prince asks, can you teach me? And the novice says, no lah, I think you may not understand and this might be vexing for me. And the prince persuaded him and requested him to teach him. And so the novice taught him the way to have unification of the mind. But the prince, after hearing it, got up and said, it's not possible to have unification of mind. and then he struck off. So the novice then went to see the Buddha and reported the whole conversation that he had with Prince Jaya, with the Buddha. And the Buddha then assured the novice, how could the prince who is in the midst of sensual pleasures, who indulges in sensual pleasures, who is devoured by sensual pleasures, who is consumed with sensual pleasures, knows unification of mind, which requires renunciation of sense pleasures. And then he went on to say that the example, the Buddha went on to give two similes. The similes of the tamed and wild animals and climbing the mountain. So he said, if you see two tamed elephants or two tamed oxen or two tamed, what he says, elephants or oxen or horses. Those three animals are there on the photograph in the pantry of the Buddhist fellowship. And after the three photographs, there is this lion, right? So these three elephants are these three images of elephants, oxen, and horses. So you would be able to recognize if they are tame or not tame. If they are not tame, they are wild. Wild elephants, wild horses, wild oxen. By their behavior. And the grade of the tame means whether they are disciplined or not. So, if the animal has not been disciplined, just like Prince Jaya has not been tamed mentally, then how could he know unification of mind, which requires taming? So he gives the example of animals, because we know animals, whether they are tamed or not. If you see wild boars, you know they are untamed, you move away. You don't run away, but you move away. So this is, you know whether they are tame or not. So in Singapore, we don't want to be near wild boars. The second example that the Buddha gave to the novice, was that if there were two friends and they left the village and went out of the village and saw a mountain. So if one stayed at the bottom and one climbed to the top, and when the person at top says that at the top of this mountain, I can see lovely parks and groves and meadows and ponds, it would not be believed by the one at the bottom of the mountain. So when a person has experienced unification of mind, it's like the person at the top has to guide that person at the bottom up the mountain and then see for himself the joy of unification of mind. So we give these two examples of the tamed animals and seeing at the top, the pleasant and beautiful and blissful scenery. And after that, the Buddha said to the novice, if you have given these two examples to the prince, maybe he would be confident in you and the teachings. And the novice said, how could I? It came upon you spontaneously. It didn't occur to me spontaneously. So the Buddha then went on to say how to tame. So the Buddha was from a Kshatriya caste, a warrior caste. So taming of wild elephants is something that he is familiar with. And so he said, the example of taming of the forest elephant. So how do they tame the forest elephant? So the king would tell the woodsman, his woodsman, go into the forest with my king's elephant, a tame elephant, and look for a forest elephant. And when you see a forest elephant, bind him by the neck to the king's elephant and lead him out to the open. So the woodsman did that. And this forest elephant was brought out to the open. And then the king asked for the elephant trainer. Now, elephant trainer, subdue this forest elephant. They subdue his habits, subdue his memories and intentions that he have in the forest. Subdue his distress, fever, and fatigue for the forest. So he says, forest elephant has to be trained, and the elephant trainer is skilled. So the elephant whisperer will come and talk to the elephant with sweet words, with gentle words, with agreeable, loving words, that the elephant, forest elephant, is touched. He will give ear, he will listen, and wonder what this loving person is talking to him all about. And this elephant trainer will give him fodder and water. And once this forest elephant eat and drink, then he says to the king, this forest elephant will live. And so he then trained the forest elephant to become the king's elephant that goes to war. In that example, he says step by step. First, he would train, take up, and then put down, using the trunk. Take up and put down. And when he's skilled in this, then he taught him, go forward, go backward. And when he's skilled in this, then he says, get up, sit down. And then when he's skilled in this three, he then went on to the fourth. They call it the imperturbable. And then they would protect the trunk with a plank. And somebody will sit on the top with a lance or sword. And then the elephant will be surrounded by a few men with swords. And in front of the elephant will be the trainer with a pole with a sword at the top. Then he trained this elephant that even if he is contacted by sharp objects, he would not move his forequarters or his hindquarters. He would not move. He would be steady. He would not move his face, his ears, his trunk, his tusks. He would be steady. Despite of all the external swords and spears. And he would be steady when even the loud noise of the war drums of the tom-tom, when they go to war, they beat the drums. He would still be steady. He would have removed all his flaws. He would be in a state of imperturbability. That means in a state of calm, that he would not be shaken. And then it will be said that this forest elephant has been tamed to a state of imperturbability and is worthy of the king. So similarly, it was said that the elephant trainer is the Buddha. He is fully enlightened, incomparable, unsurpassable trainer of gods and men. Because gods and men, like Prince Jaya, clings to sense pleasures. So he has to train them to subdue their habits, subdue their memories of the past, subdue their intentions for the future, subdue their distress, the fatigue, the fever that they have. In other words, to end what their sufferings they have, to see the end of sufferings. So he, the Buddha, is the incomparable, unsurpassable teacher. And so he says that whoever wants to learn is one who has been led out into the open. And then the Buddha will start to train him. First, he says, keep the precepts. Keep the precepts. Fear of doing wrong. Can we do that? Can we keep our precepts impeccably? That's for our own good. And fear of doing any wrong. And we can do that, he says, next, guard your sense doors. Guard the sense doors of the eyes, the nose, the tongue, the ears, the body, and the mind. Restrain all these faculties. The pandemic is a good example, right? How you guard your sense doors. Any breach of it, there's easy entry of evil. And that he says, you must guard that and do not be involved with the signs and the features of the sense or objects or the mind objects. If you become involved with them, then you can be consumed and devoured by them. If you love to sing and need to go to the karaoke, you might be consumed. So there are restraints that you have to practice on the sense doors. You must know the gratification and the dangers of this gratification. And you must know the escape route. So, if you are indulging in sense, all the sense doors, there are so many diversified sense doors. How to be one-pointedness, how to get unification of mind, how to know that it is a pleasant, blissful place. in the unification of the mind? How? So you have to guard the sense doors. And then when they have guarded the sense doors, the Buddha says, be moderate in eating. It must be the middle way. Don't indulge, don't under. It has to be moderation. He says to sustain this life for the practice so that you'll be happy and healthy. After this moderation in eating, so all this part would be sila. Then he says, you have to be wakeful in the day and in the night, and even when you sleep at the second watch of the night, you must be very mindful when you lay down. He says you must be wakeful and alert. And so when one is wakeful and alert, you must make an effort. So this is the samadhi. Effort. This requires effort. All this require effort. So the monk, he then taught him to be mindful and full awareness of the physical body as the person moves, going forward, coming back from the arms round, looking this way or looking that way, looking at how the limbs extend or flex, eating, toileting, etc., talking. So he says you have to be very mindful with full awareness. And of course, he's talking to a bhikkhu, a novice monk. Then he says, after returning from the village with the alms and after eating and cleaning up, then sit at the root of a tree or an open space or a heap of straw or in the cave, where there you will be secluded. And then with your back straight, with your mindfulness in front of you, abandon the 5 hindrances. The 5 hindrances of lust, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness, and doubt. During this time, he says, during this sitting meditation, the samadhi, abandon the 5 hindrances. So when you do breathing in and breathing out, you breathing in and breathing out. Only breathing in and breathing out. You abandon the lust, you abandon the ill will, you abandon the sloth and torpor, and you abandon the restlessness and worry, and abandon the doubt. For this mindfulness of breathing will be able to subdue your habits, your tendencies, your memories, and your intentions, your distress, your fever, your fatigue. Because it is that which binds the mind. Like the elephant trainer will bind the elephant, forest elephant, to a post in the ground and tie its neck and be attached to that post. This mindfulness of breathing is that post where then you restrain your mind and you only see breathing in and breathing out. And you fulfill the 4 foundations of mindfulness. He says, contemplate the body as the body. So when you contemplate, that means you just see the body as the body. You contemplate feelings as feelings. You contemplate mind as mind. And you contemplate mind objects as mind objects. When you contemplate, then people ask, what is contemplating? Imagine you have a ball. And this ball, you bounce it. When you bounce it, you just see it bouncing. You make no interference of catching the ball. You let it bounce where it is. So imagine you have a ball, and you have your favorite ball. So with the favorite ball, imagine that you throw the favorite ball on the floor. And then it bounce, 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 and then it will stop. You are not to run and intercept that ball. You don't introduce thoughts. So the Buddha says, when you do contemplation, do not connect it. Do not connect the thoughts when you are contemplating the body. When you are contemplating feelings, do not connect the thoughts of feelings. Do not have thoughts of feelings. What is this? Do not have thoughts. Just see, just watch, just observe, just be mindful. So there is contemplation of the body as the body. So like I see the hand just as the hand. And contemplate the feelings just as feelings. The mind just as mind. And the mind objects just as mind objects, without having any proliferation of thoughts on this four. So that you can see things as they are. And when you can see things as they are, and you are one-pointedness, then you can have unification of mind. So unification of mind, right concentration, then you can see things as they are. So with this contemplation, it is panya. So the taming of the mind is sila, samadhi, panya. These are the methods that he says can tame our minds. The Noble Eightfold Path. The Noble Eightfold Path will be able to tame the mind. So that you see things as they are. He's trying to help us see things as they are. And so he says this is the method. But in many other suttas, he will say you contemplate the body as the body. It arises and ceases. It's impermanent. When it's impermanent, it's not substantial. When it is impermanent, means there's nothing permanent in it. So the four, the body, the feelings, the mind, and the mind objects, he says contemplate them. And he says in the Anapanasati, see them for what they are. And what they are is that they are impermanent, falling, fading, ceasing, and releasing. Just like a ball, it will release the energy. It's all phenomena, is impermanent, and has this phenomena. So it says, if you can see them as they are, that they are impermanent. If they are impermanent, means there's nothing in there. Nothing is permanent, means impermanent. If there's nothing that is permanent, there is no soul. There is no I. There is no me. There is no mind. So there's nothing permanent there. Where is you? Where is me? Where is they? Conventionally, there are. Conventionally, there is this mind and body. But these are changing with no substance in it. And so they say that he trained us to see. And he tells us, look and see for yourself. Because the vision has to be seen, has to be known by oneself. Pachatam vedi tabu vinuhiti. So we have to tame ourselves again and again. And so he says, when you can tame yourselves again and again, that these 5 aggregates of the body, of the feelings, of the mind, feelings, perception, the mind, and the mental formations and consciousness, these are all can be seen in these 4 foundations, that they are empty, they are impermanent, and so they are empty, and there is no self. The body is part of nature. It arises and ceases. Soon we will be like dead. And so he says, you will be able to endure whatever physical discomfort you have from the environment because it is impermanent. And you will be able to endure the unwelcome speeches of others because they are impermanent and non-substantial. So then with this taming of the mind, then when the time to die, then the person die with a tame mind. And that tame mind is also have to be seen as it is, because the mind, as in all foundations, the body, he says, is impermanent. Feelings are impermanent. Mind is impermanent. To hear that mind is permanent is putting the Dharma on his head. The mind is not permanent. The fickleness of the mind, you can know that the mind is impermanent. Consciousness is impermanent. Mind objects are impermanent. The 5 aggregates are impermanent. If there's any permanency in any of the 5 aggregates, then Nibbana is not possible. There will still be craving and clinging to it. What you experience, the mindfulness, the one that is watching and observing, is just the faculty. That means the ability, the 5 faculties. We are just using the faculties of mindfulness, using the faculties of concentration, using the faculty of confidence, energy. So we use the 5 faculties and the faculty of wisdom, faith, energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. These are the faculties that we used. And these faculties to be used to our power. When it becomes powerful, then it smashed the defilements. It is not powerful, then you'll see that something is permanent and that we cannot see the end of craving. So the problems with the views of being and non-being. Being is a view of eternalism. And the view of non-being is nihilism. But the path is the middle way. the Buddha's middle way. If you have not smashed your ignorance, you will continue in samsara. The thing is that you have to smash ignorance. You have to smash volition. Then samsara is not permanent. It can be annihilated, but the path is the middle path, neither favoring nor opposing, and neither having delight in proliferation. So the Buddha says, he encouraged us to tame our minds. And the path has been walked by the Buddha and all the Aryans, Sangha, who have given us role models examples of the potential that the human mind can achieve or attain, the end of craving and clinging. He says that you can attain, everyone is able to attain that potential of full realization if you put in the effort, if you do the training. And so, in this, he encouraged that you need to have right thoughts, nikkama, renunciation of sense pleasures, renunciation of ill will, renunciation of cruelty. So you must have right thoughts, right understanding, right view. If you have the right view, then you will have the right direction. You have the goal. Without the right view, so it's always, is this suffering? What's the cause of this suffering? Where it arises, where it ends, what's the path? So he taught us in this sutta, MN 125, that we either die a tame death or an untamed death. Just like an elephant, a wild elephant, which is tame, and then he dies a tame death, either in young age, middle age, or old age. And if he didn't get itself tamed and disciplined, then he will die an untamed death when young or middle age or old age. So as a practitioner, you have to decide for yourself whether you want to die with a tame mind, with a tame death. So we have to practice in order that we die with a tame death. So we die anytime because life is uncertain, but death is certain. So this has to be recollected every day. With the pandemic, we have this when you read the figures, death is certain, life is uncertain. And so with this, you have to know that you have to have this effort put in to tame oneself. No one can tame yourself. The good friends can help. The good friend is the Buddha. He taught us in many ways. So he says that this is one way. The 4 foundations of mindfulness will help you to restrain your mind, your wild mind. So I think that's about MN 125. So there's some time, so you just recap this. So we summarize again that the prince wondered whether one can get unification of mind. If you are diligent, ardent, and resolute. But he didn't believe in it because he was in a lot of indulging in sense pleasures. But the mind can be tamed, like tame animals. If animals can be tamed, so can we. And we have to climb the mountain and exert ourselves to see what the Dharma is, so that we can subdue our habits, our tendencies, our past memories, our future intentions, that to subdue our distress, our fever, and fatigue. So this is the four foundations. The four foundations is the beginning of the 7 factors of enlightenment. And the 7 factors of enlightenment will culminate in concentration and equanimity. And then to see things as they are, that they are impermanent, there's nothing substantial, there is no soul, no self, no I, no you, no mine, no yours. And then, with no clinging, then there's the end of further minds and bodies. So then, birth is no more, and no more suffering in any realms, because all these realms associated with sense desires. And so to see things as they are, the 3 characteristics of existence of conditioned things, and so to see the unconditioned, to see and smash ignorance, volition, mind-body, volition, consciousness, mind-body, 6 sense-based contact, feeling, craving, clinging, becoming, birth, old age, sickness, death, sadness, grief, despair, depression. So is to smash the 12 DO so that you do not arise again. So the Buddha tries to guide us in his teachings. So I think I shall end that with a summary.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Ng. We have one person asking 3 questions.
Okay.
You want one by one?
Can.
Okay. Dear Dr. Ng, thank you for the Dharma talk. I have 3 questions on how to tame the mind. First question. In respect of imperturbability, would appreciate it if you would share some of your experience on how to tame the subtle latent tendencies that arise during meditation.
That's the first question. Okay, what are the subtle tendencies that occur during meditation? So the tendencies are the clinging to the mind objects. So if there is the 5 hindrances, there's the lust, the ill will, the sloth, torpor, restlessness, and doubt, then you are off-center. You are not at the breathing, and you're not at one point. Your mind is not at the breathing in and out, but you are looking at your subtle tendencies of your clinging. So you have to be always aware of the changing nature of even that tendency, or that object, or that mind object. So one of the purpose of breathing in and out is that when you breathe in and out, you would be able to see the changing nature of what one is attached to. So the breathing in and out is a way whereby you loosen the hold on the mind object or on your tendency. So you have to be able to recognize the mind object, and to recognize the clinging. Only after you have recognized the clinging, then you will know that, oh, this is clinging. Then you will know the escape. Because if you remain in the breathing in and out, you will notice it changing too. So it is, but when you are looking at it too hard, you may be actually clinging on to it. So in order to let go of your tendencies, keeping your mind also on the breathing in and out is to help you to delink or decling from the mind object. So it's able to recognize clinging, able to recognize craving. So this is one way. So that's why in his talk on his guide, he says also that you have to practice the mindfulness and full awareness of the body. That means you must have your mind, if you're sitting on the breathing in and out, that's your body. When you are walking, you are watching the body walking only, and you see this body walking, arising and ceasing, arising and ceasing. That's the body that's arising and ceasing. The body is easier to see, but the mind is harder to see. So the mind to see it, you still have to have mindfulness. So the mindfulness itself is key. So he says, do not have thoughts connected with the object, with the subtle habits or tendencies or the memories or the intentions. So you must be able to contemplate or see, to see it mindfully. If you don't see it mindful, that means you do not add thoughts associated, thoughts connected with the mind objects. You have to not create any thoughts. You must be aware also how your mind, when you are looking at your mind, how it contracts with the mind object. So when it contracts, you know you are clinging. So you just need to relax it. So you must be able to see how your mind works. It's not only this, so it should not be an overseeing on a mind object. You must have an overall picture. So he says, do not look at the details, the signs and the features. Otherwise, you get overwhelmed by it. That means you are eaten by it. You are not detached. So you see, in this particular sutta, he taught us very clearly how to sense as incense, like he told Bahiya, see as seeing. So the five senses see as seeing, but when you close your eyes, you see as seeing too. The vision you have is also see as seeing. So it is with the insights, so it's a visual sort of image in your mind. So you see as seeing without having thoughts connected with it. Then you also must be aware of your other foundations. Then you must see whether your mind is encroaching on the mind object, the type of clinging, or is it open? So he says, be contemplating on the mind as mind. So when you're looking, these are subtleties, but it is not subtle. He says it out quite openly that this is the way. We just need to practice again and again and to recognize the features of all the 12 DO. The feelings, the clinging, how is feeling different from craving, different from clinging, different from becoming. And so we are attached, and how we are attached to our sense pleasures, our views, our becoming. And all this is because there's ignorance. When there's ignorance, there will be volition. Move forward, move forward. So you have to stay back, watch. So that's why I say contemplate without proliferation. Just see as seeing. So there's the vision that is untarnished, untainted. So that's the first question.
Thank you, Dr. Ng. Second one, in respect to day-to-day practice, would appreciate it if you would give some guidance on how to catch the impulse or the latent tendency on a just-in-time basis, that is, at the time when it arises. Mindfulness seems to have a lagging effect against the ability to catch the latent tendency on a timely basis.
Okay. So people play games on the handphone, on the computer. So you just have to train yourself. Oh, come already. Then let it go. So when it arises, let it go. So the thing is that why it arises again? Because there's still craving. So then you see, oh, so then you see what is so repulsive about this thing? Well, if you want to have this, then you will be in samsara. Then you will have suffering. Then you will die, come and die, come and die, come and die, endless times. So you see a danger, then you say, no, I will put a stop to it. Full stop. Then your mind will say, this is going to be full stop for you. Then you will notice that as you have dispassion for it, it doesn't arise. But you must have really dispassion for it. That means no more. You can see that it is useless, is foolish. This is disgusting. I don't want to touch this, or whatever. So once you feel that this habit is repulsive, then you stop doing it. You must feel it dispassionately dispulsive. So how did the Buddha say attachment to the body? See that the body is foul, just shit, vomitous. But then this is for people with sexual problems or perversions or pedophiles and whatever with addiction to sex. Then they must see the body as foul. That's the method for seeing the body as foul. Then when they see the body is foul, they won't touch it anymore. But if you see the pleasures of the body, then they will want, the addiction means they want it to satisfy themselves again and again. So you have to develop a dispassion. This dispassion does not come, it must come within, that you really see for yourself, hey, the uselessness of an impermanent thing, the uselessness of going round and round in circles. You just watch yourself going round and round over, attached to something. Then you see for yourself how silly, you are. Then you say, stop it or not. You want to grow up or you don't want to grow up. So you have to talk to yourself. So that's the wisdom. The wisdom part is that you have to talk to yourself. Hey, you want to carry on with this? You carry on with this forever lah. This is you have to make a decision. And the mind is very malleable. You see it already, so you must have vision and knowledge. And then you must sustain it. It's not like one time you see, and then you go back to the world, you indulge again. Then it hold over you. So you must be able to see it and not touch it. Like previously as a child, you might like toys or, you might like dolls or whatever. But you grow up, you don't feel like holding a toy anymore, right? This is for kids. The mind has matured. So it depends on whether your mind has matured or not. That you no longer need this for your comfort. So you have to you have to practice. So the mindfulness have to be practiced, and especially with this quarantine, isolation, you'll be able to eat by yourself and enjoy the mindfulness of eating, or do things by yourself, and then you enjoy doing things by yourself. You are your own best friend. If you cannot even live with yourself, who else can you live with? So you have to be able to see that the mindfulness is a happy mind. You have to see it for yourself that it's a happy mind. Then once you are happy, you want to be happy. You don't want to go back to the dirt. So you want to be, so this is how we purify ourselves. So this is a jiayu, that means we have to do it many times, because sometimes we have dragged back. Then we have to make effort, train again. So this requires a lot of effort to tame yourself. Then when you get sucked back in, you know, oh, that's wrong. Then you try again. So there's this grades of the tame. So the grades of tame, there are 4 grades. So you have the stream enterer, the once returner, the non-returner, and then you have the arahant. So in the grades of the tame, there are these 4 grades of the tame. So the factors, there are factors for removal, and one of the most important factor to remove is to see that the Sakaya Ditti view, that the view of self is dropped. The view of self is dropped, that means it is impermanent. Things are impermanent. Then the view of self is completely dropped in the Arahant when the conceit is dropped. So the gross self is dropped, but only the last part, the self-conceit, is dropped at the Arahant stage, because the penetration of impermanence not complete. So there's the factors is sort of slowly, the bind is slow, the freedom is not complete. You still are tied. So this freedom to free end of suffering has to be sort of you have to saw the chain and release yourself to freedom. So in this, the only in the Buddha's dispensation, so if you read MN 11, the shorter discourse of the elephant's roar, lion's roar, elephant roar. Lion's roar, the shorter discourse on the lion's roar. The Buddha says that only in this dispensation is there the first recluse, the second recluse, the third recluse, and the fourth recluse. No other have these 4 recluses. There are these 4 recluses because there is one goal. Okay, there's one goal. And this goal is without lust, without ill will, without delusion, without craving, without clinging, without favoring or opposing, without holding on to these views, without delighting in proliferation. Because there is clinging has seen thoroughly. There may be clinging to sense pleasures, that is to be abandoned. Clinging to rites and rituals, that is to be abandoned. Clinging to views, that is to be abandoned. Clinging to becoming, that is to be abandoned. So he says, this is abandoned. Only in this dispensation, the atta, anatta, is the ultimate teaching. There is no self, and there is actually no conceit. But because there's this still holding on to the 5 aggregates, so that is the problem. Because we have all these habits, memories, intentions, because we think that there is a I, me, mine, that there is something. There's nothing in front, nothing behind, nothing in between. So then it is the clinging is let go. Only in this dispensation are there the 4 grades of the tamed. So, well, I hope it answered the questions.
Thank you.
That question is what?
Yeah, I would like to ask any more questions from other people. Otherwise, this will be the last question.
Okay.
In respect of a hypothetical situation of Kung Fu Panda catching flies using a pair of chopsticks, would appreciate it if you would give some of your thoughts on how to sharpen the mind to the extent that one could develop the skill of Kung Fu Panda catching flies from all directions and still have the ability to see things as they are. Thank you.
So in the Buddhism, we don't want to catch flies. So we want to purify. So we want to remove dirt. So if the dirt comes in, then it is dirt that like water runs off the lotus leaf. So you have to develop the mind that is imperturbable so that you do not get affected by the physical elements. But then because we live in a society, we get affected by what others say. And so what others say may not be welcoming. And so this is a big problem. So how to be steady in the environment where words or communication or social media seems to be so important. So affected that the young people being so attached to the social media that they cannot take criticisms because they think that people can smell, when people throw shit on you, you get affected. You just go for a shower and then clear it off. But then it penetrates into their very being, of their being. Because their conditioning is that there is the I or me is portrayed in the social media. So what others people say matters to them. But actually, one has to develop oneself to a state where you do not get affected. You just listen to the contents and then you investigate whether it is true or false. If it is false, drop it. If it is true, correct it. So you must have the energy and the patience. It is just conditions, and that not to be overwhelmed by others. They have their mouths. They can speak what they like. You must have respect for yourself. You must have respect for others. There are so many billions of people in the world. And the people in the world, there are many people, many bodies, how many billions of people? And with the billions of people, there are different perceptions, different views, differences. You cannot please everybody. You can only please one person, yourself. And you must be steady, that you will be able to not get all these unwelcome, ill speeches, criticisms affect you. Because you must respect yourself. And you respect yourself and you respect others. They have the freedom of speech. And you also have the freedom of noble silence. You just do what you have to do because you keep your precepts. You know you have done no wrong. You don't worry if you have done no wrong. You keep the precepts well. You guard your sense doors. So you must be very steady. And that you do not get all these flies coming in to contaminate your food and kill you. These flies will just buzz around only. Then you must keep your place clean so that no flies come. So you must keep your internal environment clean, that you don't attract all these flies. Then you must see whether you have certain tendencies that attract all these flies or not. Birds of the same feather flock together. You must have certain defilements that attract these flies. There must be some shit in you, that you have to get rid of, that flies love. In the social media platform, the young has to learn, not to be affected. They have to train themselves. It's more so that the young have to train themselves. In the past, there's only few people, Now there are millions of people. There's only one, so there's this, there are millions of people, but then there is this training, is you train yourself. There's no self, but there is this self that has been born into this samsara and were faced with challenges and how to grow out like a lotus from the mud. So you have to grow out of these challenges and don't be part of the dung, but grow up of the dung, out of the dung. So you have to choose. Do not choose evil. Avoid evil, do good, purify yourself. So this is the teaching of the Buddhists. Don't go around with, don't avoid, evil. And then you avoid unwholesome. You must be very strong before you go to tackle others. If you are not strong yourself, how to tackle others? You must be strong so that, this is just what? This is nothing. So you have to train yourself how to be strong and steady and not be affected. So the Metta Sutta is the sutta that you have to go back to, that you have to be skilled if you want to go to the state of calm. You have to be able to keep all this. You have to be upright, perfectly upright, noble speech, gentle, humble, contented, few duties, not stressed up. Don't deceive or despise another. As you treat others, so you treat yourself. You must be loving to yourself. If you tame yourself, you're not being very loving to yourself. So in this, he says, be loving, kindness to this. So the right thoughts is no ill will or no cruelty to yourself. If you have no cruelty and no ill will to yourself, then you can give. Otherwise, how give what? give what metta is tainted, right? You have some agenda behind. It must be the love, unconditional love, for yourself and for others. So this is the way of practice. So those people who, say those things, oh, they are ignorant, oh, they are deluded. Don't be so affected. They are also developing, right? Oh, they have their views. This is the world. You just be steady on your own goal. Then you can get really out of the mud. So this is the path, and the path for the young are very challenging. So they must exert themselves more. It's not easy. Not easy. It's more and more difficult. There are so many distractions, so many addictions. Life is not so simple.
Thank you, Dr. Ng. Lastly, it's not a question, some comments and thanks from Sis Annie. She says, another inspiring and enlightening talk from my favorite Dharma teacher. Thank you very much, Dr. Ng. Thank you, BF volunteers and technical team. Thanks to people like you all, we can continue to learn and progress on the path. Wonderful work. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, for joining us today. And thank you, Dr. Ng, for your wonderful talk. Again, let's close the session with dedication of merits to all sentient beings. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Let us share the merits with our departed relatives and friends. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. And of service dedication, I dedicate the merits which I have accumulated to the cultivation of my mind in order to bring happiness and benefits to all sentient beings. I dedicate the merits to my parents, children, spouse, relatives, friends, colleagues, and my adversaries, wishing them long life, good health, happiness, and prosperity. May we never part from the triple gem, and may we always walk the path towards enlightenment. Closing homage. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami. Supatipano Bhagavato Sawaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thanks again, Dr. Ng, and thank you everyone for joining us. Do come by next week today we have Bhante Dhammika, so do log in to the Zoom ID that we have sent out. The password is Sun Talks. On Facebook, there's also the link there. And next week, we have Bhante Sumana, who will be here. And of course, Saturday, we have the DFC class by Sister Sylvia Bay. Okay, see you. Have a good day. Bye.